Sweat it out. All right. The Pasadena. The Pasadena one is? Okay, cool. We'll chat a little bit after, Jack. I'm just curious. All right, good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Yeah. Yeah, looks so good. It's April. I was hoping that it would be April 1st, but unfortunately that was yesterday, so I wanted to do a little poll, but it is what it is. Can't believe it's already the second quarter of 2025. Now, first quarter went super quick, right? Guess what? Second quarter is going to go even faster. Before you know it, we're going to be in the summer of 2025. All right. You guys excited?
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff today. Also, I'm not sure if you heard of the National Association of Realtors. There's a lot of confusion and a lot of talk around the delay of listing. Have you guys heard of that? What's happening with NAR, what they're trying to implement? I'm going to have you watch a very informative video that I found that will kind of set the tone and give you some insights on how to maneuver that. And also, it's something that local associations will ultimately implement, right? Similar to an exclusion list, right? Back then, we would have a form that if the sellers wanted to exclude it from the MLS, we would have them sign an agreement, right? Well, that's going to be kind of the similar when it comes to this delay. There's pros and cons to this, okay, but there's also benefits to it as well. We'll watch a video. I have a presentation slide too that I'll, give you some insights to it. And at the end, if you have any questions, by all means, please let me know. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you ready? Yeah. Awesome. Now let's go ahead. Next slide, please. You know how we do it here at South Bay. Our mission, our beliefs, and our vision is to provide agents with a place where they will be empowered, trained, motivated to experience growth, wealth, and the legacy that allows them to live their best life possible. Our beliefs. When the values of your own company align with your own beliefs, you've found your professional home. And a vision to achieve amazing professionals and personal development so that KW South Bay remains the agency of. Give yourselves a round of applause. We're grateful and we're really thankful that you have chosen KW South Bay as your office and obviously the real estate company, so there's a lot of great stuff with Keller Williams. All right, let's continue. Next slide. Let's welcome and introduce most of you may know who he is, Michael Ollie with Harvard Media. Let's give him a round of applause.
So, how many of you have gone through any type of coaching or have done any kind of research on what it takes to be successful in real estate? And how many times have they said, you got to brand yourself? Yeah. Anybody heard that, or did I just make that up? Yeah. No. So at Harvard Media, we do real estate photography, videography. We do all the normal stuff. But we've added portraits, headshots, lifestyle shots. And we're gonna do photo day here at South Bay. Now I'm gonna brace you. They're $440 for one photo. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's expensive. And it is. But it's your brand. You can probably take a photo with your cell phone, put an AI background around it. Is that your brand? Or are people going to see through that? So what we're going to do is we're going to do it in this room, right, Simon?
Yes, sir.
We're going to do it in this room. We're going to set up, we're bringing lights. We're going to have coaching on how to pose. You're going to come through, take your photos, and then you're going to be able to pick the one that you want on site. If you're in a hurry, you got to go, then you can pick it on an online gallery, and we'll get it delivered to you in 7 to 14 days after you choose which photo you want to use. But remember, how many agents have you seen where they hand you their business card and it's a picture from 1983? Right? I'm a real estate agent. I got my headshot, not this one here, but I got my headshot that I used for real estate in 2010. I still use it. It's 15 years later, right? So this image is going to be on all your marketing material. It's going to be on your website. It is going to be the first thing people see about you after they see your social media and everything, right? So you want this to be you, your brand. We'll professionally touch it up. This is not going to be a come in, get a quick headshot. Yeah, looks good-ish. It'll work. This is going to set your brand apart. So I know it's expensive. $440. People are like, "Whoo."
I'm gonna have makeup people here.
We can bring in hair and makeup people. If you need hair and makeup people, we can have them in.
Everybody needs hair and makeup.
I don't disagree. Some people would disagree.
Mhm.
But yes, that is an option that if you do want hair and makeup, if you do want hair and makeup, let me know in advance. And we can talk about that. If you need wardrobe questions, contact us in advance. We can help you with that as well. We also do, if the 440 and you're like, yeah, that day doesn't work for me, that's way too expensive. Or if you have a team, or if you want to do dual shots, let me know in advance. We can do that as well. Or if you have a fantastic listing that you're like, this is in my farm, this is a fantastic listing, this is what I want to use for all of my marketing, then we can come to you, not on this day, but we offer lifestyle shoots. And those are different packages depending on if you're an individual, if you're a duo, if you're a team, and like up to 10 people if you have a big team. So if you have any questions, I'll be around. If you have any questions, let me know. Does anybody have a question about it now?
I do.
Simon
So
does.
on top of headshots, he also does have to know photography for your listings. I know several agents have used, I've used you in the past, phenomenal stuff, very organized, very professional. And the deliverance after, it's like a wow factor, so it definitely looks very impressive. Even my clients have said, wow, these images look amazing. So how much more benefit would that be when you have professional photography? He does aerial footage, he has drone, he has videos too, and all of the fun stuff to really cultivate the branding that you're all looking for as well. So just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
How much are your prices for properties?
For properties, it depends on your square footage. They start at 225. For anything under 2,000 square feet, be 225. Do 24-hour turnaround, all the good stuff.
And the drone?
Drone is 125 as an add-on. I do have different packages that are built out where sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't really need a bunch of drones, I just need one. I've got a package that includes one drone, you get the front elevation. That's all people want. Like, I don't want to pay 125 for multiple, I just need one. I have a package for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That shoot that you come to do one headshot, what's what I need.
You get one. You get one. We can do add-ons. So like if you want to do another round through, we can probably work out something where we catch a deal on the second one. But yeah, just for the one, but your brand is your brand. McDonald's only has one logo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't, they have lunch flags. You can get your MS from there. Anything else?
Pots or flower rooms?
I have a business card.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Turn everything back over to Simon.
Wonderful. Let's give Michael a round of applause. The importance of branding, especially in the line of work that we do, branding is very, very crucial, very important. Look at some of the stuff on social media, right? Look at what they're doing, right? To cultivate opportunities, get more sellers, get more buyers, get more investors. It's all about branding. We always talk about doing videos, right? In front of a camera, doing a showing, right? Maybe talking about the community, a new listing that you have, or a potential listing you're about to get, right? All of those definitely will cultivate opportunities. The more eyes, the more people are gonna know that you're in real estate. That's the whole purpose of branding, right? So again, Michael, thank you very much. And again, let's thank him for Chick-fil-A, you know. That's so awesome. You know, awesome stuff. All right, well, let's go ahead and continue. Next slide, please. April Fool, not fools, April Fool, F-U-L-L, 30 social media prawns for April. So if you are interested, this is all part of your association with KW, 30 social media prawns for April. Go ahead and get that QR code before it goes away. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, 1 second. Let's see if I can get this out. Did it work?
No.
Now?
I don't think we'll see the full barcode.
I don't know how to do it. There we go. All right, let's try again.
Yeah, that would.
Beautiful. Well, I'm excited for the next slide. Jay Papazon has created it, and the beautiful thing is you can pre-order the latest life-changing publication, The Rookie Real Estate Agent, Launch a Limitless Career That Lasts. Co-author of countless real estate bestsellers, made the lay to the groundwork for the lasting career. And all of this should be shipping in early September of this year. You know, the fundamentals and the basics of, you know, getting into real estate, understanding the concept, right, of what you need to do, right? Real estate sells itself, ladies and gentlemen. But what you need to understand is how do you sell yourself, right? Because once you understand the process, right, it doesn't matter if it's a $500,000 price point or a $50 million price point. The process is the same. It's a systematic approach. But the essence is the skill sets, the understanding. There's 3 elements to real estate. I always say this, and I will continue saying this in my 28 years. Learn contracts, learn negotiations, and learn objection handlers. Last week, we were doing objections, right? If someone says this, how do you answer? If someone says that, how do you answer, right? The importance of the skill sets that you need to ultimately close more deals, fill in those gaps, right? Now, the book is rookie, okay? All of you are not rookies anymore, but there's concept in there that will show you the path to success, okay? These are what we call road maps, right? Point A to point Z, right? I'm old school. I got trained on a Thomas map book. You guys all remember the Thomas map books? The grids, okay? And then you had to flip pages, especially if you're going from one county to the other county. Well, the good thing is now with technology, our phones, our GPSs navigate that for us. It'll tell you exactly your ETA, the exact time of arrival, right? How many miles? Alternative, right? Alternative directions. If there's congested traffic, right? Well, these books, not just the latest, but the Millionaire Real Estate book, the playbooks, right? The flip books, the investor books, the books that talk about shifts, right? Tipping markets, right? High interest rates, low interest rates. How do you navigate all that? So the importance is building the fuel in the mind to ultimately be learning based, right? So I would encourage you, I believe it's $16 to purchase, small investment, but here's the link if you want to pre-order. All right, well, let's continue. Next slide. I'm excited. Red Day, let's go into Red Day. Yes, 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 yes. Well, we definitely need volunteers and donations. So Keller Williams, South Bay will be giving back to the community like we always do. Who was here last year? Wasn't that an amazing time, right? Really giving back to the community and the importance. Well, guess what? It's around the corner, Thursday, May 8th. It's just around the corner. So we're looking for volunteers and people that can donate as well. So please, please, please. Be a support to the community and also to the office. Please volunteer and donate as well, okay? It's gonna be at the same location as last year at the Wilson Park. All right, great location, great times, and it's really just getting back to the okay. Next slide. There's a couple clips from last year. Fun times for sure. All right. If you also want a Red Day shirt, please make sure to pre-order. We have some as well. So, you know, that way we're all in unison and uniform as well. The cool thing is last year we had people that were walking and they were saying, what organization is this? You know, you guys are all the same, you know, and it was, you know, we're Kettle Williams, we're a real estate company. So it's really cool to have those conversations with people that were in the park. All right, let's spotlight our vendors, Ben Shu and Grant Allen with First American Title. Thank you, guys.
Not my favorite photo. You know, we can replicate that. I can take this chair and I don't know why we need the ladder in there, but you know, what can you do? So I know some of you know us, but for those of you that don't, I'm Grant and this is Ben. We work with First American Title. We've been both doing this probably, I think, the exact same amount of years, about 18 years now. So I know it doesn't look like it. Maybe
Yeah, it shows on mine.
we're gonna talk a little bit about, we're gonna kind of stick to what we know. I know a lot of title companies like to come up here and talk about marketing, but today we're gonna talk about what we actually do. And so I know it's hard to go from prospecting to interviewing for the listing, to marketing the listing, to getting it in escrow. And I believe that you have to be very careful who you choose for title because we're a small part of the process until we're not. So we're going to share a couple stories with you, things to look out for that could slow you guys down. Some are simple, some are not. How many of you in here know that we search both people and the property by a show of hands? Anybody? Okay. So a lot of times when you get that preliminary title report, it's a listing preliminary title report. Some title companies break it down, which we do, and a few other ones do as well, and some don't. You can always ask that title rep if you don't work with us to break it down for you because it gives you kind of a good bullet points of what to look out for. But what that preliminary title report does is it basically searches the property. And if there's any obvious liens also against the person, they'll show up on that preliminary title report. But a lot of times there's this form called the Statement of Information form. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the form doesn't get filled out until the end of escrow, until they're getting ready to close. They're signing all the documents, and it's one of the documents that, okay, there's Jim doing what he does. Yeah. But anyways, so that form gets filled out at the end. If something shows up on there, that could be a problem for you. A lot of times, to give you an example of what would show up is judgments against only the person. Child support liens. That's one of the most common ones that pop up. People don't talk about it beforehand when they're listing the property. And all of a sudden at the end, they're like, oh, I didn't think you would find that. We've had that happen quite a lot, actually. And so you need to get that SI form filled out before, in the beginning. And oftentimes, we're encouraging our clients to fill it out with the listing paperwork. We want to make sure that once you do all that work to get it to the home stretch, that you don't have something that trips you up and could potentially, cost you from closing that escrow. So that's something to look out for. We'll talk a little bit about trust and.
Yeah, so a couple of things. If the property is in a trust, okay, you want to make sure that you are dealing with the actual. So when you're on title, when title's vested in the trust, their vesting deed will always name the trustee. Okay, it'll be Ben Shu, Grant Alley, trustee of the Alley Family Trust. Okay, you want to make sure who you're dealing with is the actual trustee. If they are not, if they are a successor trustee, because the original trustee has passed, you're going to want to get a copy of the trust to make sure that who you're dealing with and actually working with does have the ability to sell that house. Okay, we've had a few transactions where they've taken it down through the home stretch and marketed it, got into escrow. Oh yeah, the trustee's fine, so success is fine, and then title gets a copy of the trust, and the successor was actually not the actual successor, or there were other successors
Family feud.
that all needed to act.
Which happens all the time. I mean, we've had people written out of the trust. You know, there's a late amendment to that trust after, you know, a 20-year-old trust, and they do an amendment a couple years before their death, and that person's no longer in the trust, which means they don't get any of the proceeds. So while you do all this work, I know there's so much into selling a home, inspections and different reports, escrow, you know, all the forms that you guys have to fill out. I know this is a small piece, but when you have a title partner, we will review your prelims. We will make sure that all of that stuff is apparent to you. And if there's any red flags, we point them out. One thing that we do for our clients, it's more of an issue on the buy side, because when you have a buyer, once they get into that property, there's no negotiating power. They have no leverage left. We had a situation recently, and we'll wrap up after this. We had a situation recently where there was a shared driveway and there was no easement on that property. And it went straight up and it went to one garage and it went to the other garage. And there was no easement on either property. So they both were benefiting, and it's right down the middle of the property line. But the property line's not defined because you don't know exactly where the lines are because it's blurred between the cement. And so what happened here, the key element here with an easement is there typically is conditions where under those conditions, it states in what condition do we have to jointly repair the driveway. And that is key because you don't know who your neighbor's going to be until you get into the house. Everybody acts good in the beginning, but then, you know, it takes one feud and next thing you know, you have a war with someone, especially over parking and things like that. So when you're looking at a driveway, use your eyes. When you're on a property, use your eyes and look at that and like, hey, is there an easement for this? It looks like they're both benefiting from the same driveway. Ask your title person, hey, what's going on with this? Is there an easement addressing the driveway? I just want to make sure that my client's not in a bad position. So there's things to look out for, and basically, you know, we like to help you guys on that side too, even though we're not going to be working on the title side. So we're here to help you, but go ahead.
Lastly, talk about the POAs.
Okay, got you. Last thing. When people do estate planning, they create a power of attorney. Power of attorneys, everybody should kind of listen to this one because it becomes an issue almost every week for us. Power of attorneys, typically title companies want a power of attorney that's less than a year old. Why? Things change. Maybe they don't want that person to act on their behalf anymore. So typically a year old, and then when it comes to selling a property, they want what's called a specific. It's preferred. Not always has to be a specific. We can work around that, but if you want to make it ironclad, get a specific power of attorney which lists the property. It's a power of attorney and it lists the property as that person can use the POA to sign on behalf of that owner. So, and most trusts do not allow for the use of a POA because they do the same thing. They have the same powers. So there's verbiage in the trust that it acts as if a POA. And there are trusts that do allow for it. It's very rare, but the family trusts that we all see when we list properties and sell them, they almost always don't have it. Even though I had one last week, it was totally rare. So anyways, I know that trust title is pretty boring, but you can leave it to us. We're here to help you guys and to answer any of your questions. So thank you so much.
Thanks for you guys, before you guys go. Yeah, title is definitely boring. Okay. But when things go sideways, these are the people that you need to be communicating with, right? And the reason is, and what you were saying about the easement, be vigilant when it comes to share walls, fences. If you're representing a buyer or representing a seller, and you see that the fence is about to come down, collapse, fold, you know, you need to be having those conversations, because what's going to happen is once you sell that property, if that fence or that wall collapse, there's going to be a dispute. And guess who's going to be getting the calls? You. Okay, if you represented the buyer, represented the seller, you're going to get a call from the opposing agent. Now what, right? And there's many properties that have what we call share walls, right? Some are within the same property, some are divided in between both, right? But if you have a difficult neighbor, it can be very challenging. Who's gonna pay for what? Typically, share means 50-50 split, right? But what if the other party doesn't have the means to do so, and you take the brunt of it, right? So these are the little things that you need to be very mindful, right? When you're doing your visual inspections, right? And easements are prime examples too. You know, all of these can come up later on, and that can delay the process for closing the deal.
And they like to blame you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And the first thing they come after when they go to mediation is what? Your commission.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
we're here to help you prevent a lot of that stuff.
Gentlemen,
That's our job.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
One other thing, I've known this guy for 11 years. I started with black hair, then this guy. Yeah, we have aged. Yeah. Very good. Good information, right? Be
Yes.
mindful. Other company is your support team, right? Just like your escrow company, just like your lenders, just like your home inspectors, right? Just like your broker, right? All right, let's continue. Next slide, please. All right, let's congratulate all of the April birthdays. So if you are on this list, can you please stand up? Oh, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yes. Beautiful. Seems like every month there's a big list of agents that have birthdays, yeah. This is coming around the corner in June, so I know it's a big list too. Awesome, well, happy birthday to all of the April agents in the office. And then again, congratulations to all of the anniversaries of April, congratulations, a big list again. If you see any of them on your list, I see Michael here. I see Michael, oh, that's Michael Carey. Please make sure to give him a high five, congratulate him for, you know, being part of this amazing organization and obviously this office as well. Okay. All right, let's continue. Next we have Fernando Diaz with CMP Home Loans. Fernando, what's happening? How you doing? That brings us back to police.
Hello, guys. I'll give you a story that happened to me in the early part of my career. I don't know, 25 years ago or so. So I had a client at escrow. They were signing the loan documents when they came in, nice couple, credit was fine, nothing crazy on the credit, income was fine. You know, buying a little house, who knows, FHR, who knows. So they're there, and I get a call from the escrow lady. At the time, I think maybe a page from the escrow lady, pager. And I call back this number, and it's this lady saying, hey, you know, title and the SI came back with the child support lien against the husband. And he was like, no, that's not mine. And he had a common name, like, you know, Suze Garcia or something, you know, Joe Garcia, whatever it was. So they delayed the signing, and when, you know, title did more research on it, and it found out that it was his, and he never told his wife that he had it. Yes or no? Raise your hand. Who says yes?
With Fernando.
You say yes? You're absolutely wrong. Okay, who said no? Everybody said no. There you got to go. Boom. Boom. We gotta pass it on. Oh, that's yours. Everybody pass it over there. Boom. Oh, there. Nice catch. All right. So that's what happened there. So keep in mind, SIs are important. Also, I'm dealing with one right now. We just figured out a solution. But make sure that the elderly that have powers of attorneys, have trust, have a specific power of attorney, because a regular power of attorney doesn't do no good in a real estate transaction. And I feel bad because we have people, seniors in homes, elderly care, they've got $1 million or more in equity in their home. They're trying to just tap into it, you know, through the son who's got the power of attorney, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes a real difficult situation and takes away from the care that these people deserve. These are their assets. Okay. So that can be difficult later. Also, all of you guys, if you guys have powers of attorney and all that set up yourselves, make sure that you have a specific and all that. Question? Yes.
So if that guy pay the child support, can he just continue?
He had bigger problems than paying the child support. His wife never knew that he had a kid. Somebody else. Yes, the judgment against them, if you, or even a payment plan, probably, we could have figured out something, but the wife obviously put everything on hold. So, yeah, that was that, so that did not close. I don't even know if they got the word that, I have no idea. And, anyway, the big news, and actually, honestly, probably the biggest news economically in the last 10 or 12 years is going to happen today at 1 o'clock. So, 25 minutes. Yeah, but the truth, like, what tariffs are we talking about? They all voted. I think Sammy just asked me, well, when does this take effect? Midnight tonight. Okay, so it's almost like taking something and you can flip it completely upside down or halfway over or a quarter over or not. We don't know. Okay, the markets are completely flat and just holding and waiting to see what happens. People have asked me, what do you think is going to happen? Hard to say because it just depends. If it spins us into a recession or the growth declines, rates will improve. So I think you will see, or we will see a pickup in that case for those that are confident in their situation. And if it doesn't, then rates will probably maintain or maybe even rise. Hard to say. It's like flipping a coin, right? We don't even know the plan yet. So I would get on the TV at 1 o'clock. I'll find out. Real quick, who was here for the Phil Jones Lunch and Learn? All right.
I bought the book too.
Anyway, well, you get candy, you get other people, you get pretzels with that. All right, now, how many people enjoyed it? And thought there was value in it? How many people are actually trying to apply some of it when they're talking to new clients? Look at that. All right, you guys get all of it. How about that? I was gonna go over the car stuff, but I think I'll save it for the next meeting. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Anything else in general, guys? Because obviously we're on hold until this announcement's made, and then we'll see the direction of everything. And that's it, really, unless there's any other questions. I don't want to get complicated today. Nope, all right. All right, again, thank you very much.
It's so funny that he's talking about Bill Jones because these are part of Bill Jones, the flashcards trips that we were practicing last week. I might, if we have time, I might just do a round again. I think it's just important to really enhance the comfort. All the mistakes you want to make here, you'll make them out there with your clients, right, Steve? So it's important that you practice role playing with one another, holding each other accountable and all the fun stuff. All right, well, let's go ahead and continue. Next slide, please. All right, listing pitches, buyer needs and wants. Anyone? Yes.
My 2127 Olson Road is going to auction in 30 days for Premier Auctions, starting bid 3.7. It's a $5.5 million house. So I'm not sure if you guys have anybody for a 50-acre avocado ranch in Thousand Oaks. Secondly, I have another listing on big listings in the valley. I have another listing coming up in Northridge, a brand new home, about 2,700 square feet with a pool, completely redone. It's probably going to go out at about 1.650. I'll announce that listing next week when I have it signed and in the MLS. Third, I have a lease coming up in South Shores. Beautiful home, $6,500 a month, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, central air conditioning and pool and a view in South Shores coming up. It's being completely repainted inside. It'll probably be available probably May 1st or middle of April. And that's it.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jim. Yes, Joanna. Go ahead, Joanna.
I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Palm Desert. It's not on the market yet. It's actually our condo. And we're looking to sell it. It's a nice setup because the way the condo is set up is there's only 4 units per pod. And so the 2 middle units are 2-story and then the 2 end units are just a single story. So it's a single story, 2-bed, 2-bath condo in Palm Desert in a gated community. And we're going to sell it fully furnished. So if you know of anybody that is looking for something for about $650.
Palm Desert Country Club or what?
What's the HOA?
Ironwood Country Club.
Ironwood.
Yeah. And HOA is, I think, it's either $739 or $765 a month.
Okay.
So it's a really nice condo complex. It's up the block, if you're familiar with Palm Desert, it's up the block from El Paseo, which is like a mini Rodeo Drive, and then also up the block from the Living Desert.
It's how close is it to El Paseo?
Pardon me?
How close is it to El Paseo?
Well, you kind of have, you can't, by car, it's probably like a 2 to 3 minute drive, but by walking.
Oh,
it's
what
uphill.
street is it off of?
It's off of Monterey.
Oh, it's up in Monterey?
Yeah.
I've had 6 properties on there now.
Square feet again, please? About 1,200 square feet.
And 650 includes all the furniture?
All furniture, everything. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Joanna. Anyone else? Yes.
I have one on this. I have a new listing, for those familiar with here in Torrance. It's called Canadian Circle or New Horizons 55 plus. It's 950 square feet, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. There's golf course, there's pools, jacuzzis, resort style living in Torrance. It's listed at 560. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. Downstairs.
You have to be 55.
Draw plus.
You gotta start the process at 54 and a half. Yeah, it's both.
So I have a buyer looking for a condo or a townhome in UCLA for his son, about $1 million budget, if you have any. Thank you.
Beautiful. Anyone else? Yes, Michael.
We're actually leasing our old house. It's in Brea, so I don't know if you guys have any people looking to rent in Brea. 3 bedroom, 2 baths, 1,700 square feet, 2-car garage. Pets allowed. Maintenance, the garden will be taken care of. And the HOAs will be taken care of as part of the rent. 4,500 ballpark.
Beautiful. Love Brea. Next to Brea Mall, right?
Yeah, it's close.
Very good. Anyone else? Yes.
Fire need,
Fire need.
multi-unit, preferably 5 units, and 2.3 is the maximum budget.
Where's South Bay Torrance?
Long Beach.
In Long Beach, okay.
That's an easy one.
Very cool.
That's an easy one.
Good. Anyone else? Yes, Sammy. Come up here so we can hear you, especially for the people on Zoom.
Off market, city bed 2 bathroom condo in Harbor City, coming up probably the end of the month or beginning of the next month. Going through pre-sale rep right now. About just over 1,000 square feet. Nobody under the one flat level. And got 2-car garage and extra spot outside too, so. Anybody else?
What complex is it?
On Western is the full bed. How much? Yeah, I agree. 550.
For 2 bedrooms with a private garage? 3-2. I have. Let me make a call right now. Here's their phone.
Yeah, they try about 5:30 per month. Anything else?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. Anyone else? Okay, well, let's go ahead and continue. All right, I'm gonna have a video that I want to share on the understanding of clear cooperation policy. Back in 2019, 2020, the whole purpose of CRMLS or MLS in general was a national understanding or policy of clear cooperation. What is clear cooperation? Well, it was to avoid pocket listings. It was to avoid agents trying to double dip or double in on the transaction and not allow the property to be exposed to the whole entire cities, counties, or wherever, right? Part of the MLS. So they wanted to control that, and part of the process was that you either register the property or you have some kind of exclusion list saying that the seller has instructed you not to put it on the MLS. Okay, that kind of started the ripple effect of what we are now. Last year, then we had the National Association of Realtors with the big lawsuit, right? The NAR lawsuit, and then we changed how we do business, right? One, the commission compensation to any cooperating broker got eliminated. We now had to implement, which in existence, we were still utilizing the BRBC or the buyer broker agreement, but it was part of the process now that anytime you're talking to any potential buyer, you would have to have some type of written agreement with the buyer. Now, compensation or concessions is part of negotiations. So when you think of commissions, you think of, negotiating like a request for repairs, right? It's just an additional process now. Well, now this year, they started what is called a delay. And we've been getting a lot of confusion regarding what does that mean? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Well, I'm going to share with you a quick video. This individual explains it well, and then I will have a little presentation as well. Natalie, if you can do the next slide. Business as usual, right, is what you heard. You also heard September what? 25th. Now, it's no different than what we saw last year, right? The chaos, the confusion, what forms, how do we talk, open houses, what do we need to sign? Kind of the same component. But go through the motions of business as usual for right now. We don't have anything as of yet. As we get closer and closer to September, we'll get a gauge and a temperature of where we stand. I'm pretty sure that all MLSs across the nation will have a form that if the consumer, the sellers want to not have it on a third-party site like realtors.com, homes.com, okay, Zillow, they have the option to do so. But he also said that the MLS is still in compliance with the clear cooperation, meaning you still have to either register the property, put it as a coming soon, or put it on the MLS active, okay? That's still the same process. The sellers now are going to have the option, if they do not want to syndicate it to third party. Now you have what's called a delay. We could do a delay for 2 to 3 weeks. We can market it internally here, right? Just like we do the buyer needs and wants, okay? Which is very relevant, right? Because we want to try to keep everything in-house, right? So it still falls into the clear cooperation, but it also now the MLS with the local associations are working to delay third-party sites. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
Yeah, we actually used to do that many, many years ago with Remax. Because we had 8 offices, it's 850 agents. So we would list the property and it would go out on the meeting day on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever the meeting day was. We usually have Tuesday because there's brokers open house on Tuesday and PD. But they would hold these open houses exclusively for just Remax. And Coldwell Banker would do the same thing because we see Coldwell Bankers going into houses and we're going, hey, we don't know about this listing, but we kept it for 2 weeks exclusively in the office. So they gave their own agents a chance to sell it. So the company would represent buyer and seller for create more sales for their in-house agents. So that's what happened. So this delay is not a bad thing because if you have a hot listing and you want somebody in your office to sign it, or a coworker, or somebody says, hey, I have somebody coming in next week, can you go, how do I, and I know they're gonna buy the house, you can actually talk to Simon and have it delayed.
Yeah. And the beauty is you're going to have control over that. You're going to have the option. Right now, we have a little bit of control as the broker to not include it on Zillow, but now you're going to have that option to be able to delay the process. So here's a quick presentation on the delayed marketing. Next slide. So here's the overview of the new NAR policy. How it'll affect the listings and the workflow and what this means for your clients. Next slide. So the purpose of the new policy is to promote seller choice, reinforces openness on the MLS, and aligns with the fair housing and competition. Next slide. Delay the marketing exempt listing as part of the key definitions, office exclusive listings, IDS and syndications, and virtual office websites. Next slide. What can be done with a delayed marketing exempt listing? Showings are allowed per seller's instructions. Signed social media website promotions are okay. Treat it as an active listing. Next slide. Seller disclosures and requirements, MLS enforces those disclosures. We don't have them as of yet, but as soon as we get closer, I'm pretty sure by June, July, we're gonna start getting these documentations that we're gonna implement it into our business. Must be documented in seller's information, informed consent. MLS can design its own form or accept complaint alternatives. Next slide. What you're asking most, yes, showings are allowed. Yes, signs and online marketing are allowed. No, MLS cannot block showings or exclude these listings from the virtual websites. And listings can convert between status, meaning from one status to another, pending and all that fun stuff. Next slide. Private marketing is flexible, public marketing exposure via IDX and syndication. Sellers decide a balance on that. That's the beauty, that the sellers are going to have the option to opt in or opt out as part of the process. Now, agents are going to see it from two different scopes, right? More exposure, obviously, if it gets promoted through third-party sites and all that. But how many times have you been in a scenario where you're the listing agent, right? And now you get a call from the buyer's agent saying, hey, my client wants all those photos removed, right? Okay, I get those calls all the time because of privacy. Once the listing agent closes that listing, it's forever. We cannot alter that or reverse it. So some agents, what they're doing now is eliminating all of the photos but one exterior photo to close it out, which is perfectly fine and within compliance. But once it goes through a third party, we have no control. And if you Google a listing that you have, you'll see it in all different platforms. It's out of control. Now the sellers have that control where it can only be internal within the MLS instead of syndicated in the World Wide Web. That's the whole purpose of all this stuff. They have that option to do so. So the sellers make that decision. Next slide. So what agents need to know the MLS implementations, use proper disclosures, explain all options clearly to your clients, and stay updated via, MLS and CRMLS and all that fun stuff. Next slide. And a couple slides, or I believe in the next slide, there's a QR code. Please take your phone. That'll navigate into the questions and answers. There's a lot of information regarding how to approach it, how to have the conversation with your clients. It's a Q&A. Check your local MLS for guidance as we get closer to that date. And then obviously you can contact your broker as well. Next slide. So the takeaways: be proactive with disclosures, educate your clients early. This policy is about choice, not restrictions, and ask questions and stay connected, folks. Okay. I know all of us are going to have questions as we get closer and closer. It's an exciting thing because you have a little bit more control. So stay tuned. Next slide. And here it is, folks. Get your phones and tap into this QR code. That'll take you to the National Association of Realtors Q&A. There's a lot of information that just created for the delay of the listing. Any questions, thoughts, or concerns?
Simon, I have a question. This is Helma.
Hey, how are you?
For a seller who opts out of MLS and we have a compensation agreement in place, how does this affect that transaction?
Repeat the question.
I'm sorry?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yes, if I have a seller who has opted out of the MLS, and they have a compensation agreement signed and in place. We're actually doing photography tomorrow, so I'll announce it. But does this affect that? Do I need to sign any other forms, fill out any other forms, since they are opting out of MLS completely?
No, this will not affect that. And all of this is still in the near future. We're probably going to start getting more stuff closer to the summer. So right now, business as usual, if the seller has opted not to put it on the MLS, just make sure you register the property on the MLS, and then that suffices your position and to be in compliance.
Thank you. What is the form for registering it in the MLS?
So send me an email. I'll provide you the video and how to register. You just go to CRMLS. And then you go where it says register listing, and then you go through the prompts of it. And the good thing of registering the property on the MLS, it's only seen by you and also CRMLS. That's it. It's not a coming soon. It's just that you're registered to be in compliance and to be part of that clear cooperation. Okay. Send me an email or text me, and then I can give you the step-by-steps and how to register the property.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, any other questions? All right, let's continue. We're almost done, I promise. Upcoming events. This Friday, I'm going to be talking about open house do's and don'ts in the wake of AB 2992 and the NAR settlement. So please take advantage of the classes that we have here. Every Friday, 10:30, I have my contract class. And I believe this month, I also will be reviewing again the purchase agreement and the listing agreement as well. Friday, April 4th. Next slide. We have CRMLS, okay, and this is great too, and he's going to be here in person. Joey from CRMLS will be here on Tuesday, April 15th from 1 p.m. It's an in-house training, and he's going to go through some of the elements, but we also can maybe pick his brain and find out what CRMLS is doing about all of this. It's a great time. It'll be here in the training room, live and in person. Next slide. And then we have Josh Cohen, one of our amazing commercial agents. He's going to be doing a brunch and learn inside of the industry. Great guy, does massive business in commercial. We got him here through our ALC, Michelle Brown, and the team and the committee. Was able to convince him to do and host a training here. So if you want to tap into commercial, please make sure to be here Wednesday, April 16, 10 a.m. to 11 o'clock. Next slide.
Is it on Zoom?
It'll be on Zoom as well. It'll be recorded too. Just a couple of MAP events happening. Critical Conversations in Real Estate with Phil Jones, and then Coaching Skills Camp. These are paid training, so if you're interested, please get the QR code. Next slide. And then some of the other ARBIC American Heritage Month panel, and then onboarding bold KWYP. Next slide. And that concludes our team meeting. All right, thank you everyone. Appreciate it.